steeking the Halliste Shawl. We've bound off our stitches except for the 15 stitches that make up our steek section. These we will take off the needle, leaving them live. We've taken the 15 steek stitches off the needle. These stitches are still live so that they can be unraveled to make our knotted fringe. We just have the tail from the last stitch of the actual shawl part that's been bound off. We're now going to take some sharp scissors and we're going to cut along the purl stitches that we've made a nice column of. We're just going to cut down the middle all the way to the tip. You don't need to be precise when cutting this because the strands that we're cutting are going to be unraveled and we can trim our fringe after. So I'm just going to cut. You can open up the section so you've got a nice column there and just cut down the middle. As you're cutting, you want to make sure that you're not catching any ends, particularly any of the rosy mina ends. You just want to cut the purl stitches. And any ends from joining a new ball, just push it to the side as you're cutting. Coming up to the tip, so we're just about done. Here I've got the tail for my cast on. I'm just gonna push it to the side. I don't wanna cut it. And you're just gonna carry on. So I'm just gonna pull it apart so I can see my purl stitch there, and you're gonna cut through the cast on edge. So now it's fully separated and can lie flat. We're now going to start unraveling all of this plain stockinette section, which is part of our steek section. So if you move your shawl so that the live stitches are facing you, all you're going to do is pull on the ends to unravel them, and they will stop unraveling right at the point where we've bound off. So they're only going to unravel to a certain point. And that certain point you'll see is the first knit stitch after the marker marking our steek section. So we've got a knit stitch, purl stitch, and then our body of the shawl. So just pull apart. You're going to do this on each side. So pull your strands. You'll get lots of curly ends. And you're going to do this all the way to the bottom. So just pull them. And you just So now that both sides have been nicely unraveled, we've got all this crazy fringe going. So we're now going to start knotting to secure it in place. Now that we've unraveled all the strands, we're going to start knotting. You want to pick one point of the shawl in which to start your knots. I'm going to start from the tip. I'm going to work along the left side. What we're going to do is find the first two strands. So it's going to be my cast on tail, and 1 thread. So I'm going to grab 2. We're going to be knotting strands in pairs. Simply going to loop them over and pull through the loop. Then you want to slide the actual knot or the loop all the way up against the edge of the shawl. I'm then going to work the next 2. So I'm going to pull them. So here are 2. Again, wrap them around to make a loop. Pull through and push that knot up against it. I've done a few on the other side here. So they should slide up against the body of the shawl. This will just secure it in place. You're going to continue grabbing pairs of strands at one time, knotting them and continuing on. And you'll continue working all the way up on each side. Once you've finished knotting all of the strands along each edge, you'll get this beautiful fringe. It's curly when it's freshly unraveled, but once you've blocked it, the fringe will lie out straight. Once it's dry from blocking, you can then trim the fringe so it's even and to the length you would like.